views expressed on this program are those of the hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of this station, its management, or other advertisers. You're listening to Transformation Talk Radio.
The following audio is via a Skype call.
Welcome to Small Steps, Big Breakthrough Radio with Sara Loos. Sara Loos introduces us to her unique style that is creating massive transformational results for people across the globe in this hit show. If you want to propel yourself towards big breakthroughs of your own, make sure to bring your playful, magical self to the party as Sara turns reality on end to experience expansive results with simple yet powerful steps. Step into enlightening minds, empowering hearts, expansive results. Blame, doubt, and fear are not invited.
Hey, everybody. Listen, we have got a fabulous, fabulous show for you. Sara Loos is in the house, and guess what? Today, we're going to be talking about something, she and I don't know, for me, it has been a real challenge for me to understand what my own spiritual journey is about and basically not really listen to a whole lot of people on the outside. And I want to say it's just like it's one of those things that each of us has to make decisions. Sarah's joining me here today. She's one of the most sought after people that's out there right now, helping all of us rise up, to move beyond our dreams. But most importantly, she works with people, whether it be on an individual or a group level, to understand how we can heal ourselves, how we can move forward, how we can bring in our version of God to the forefront of what we do, and then use compassion along the way. She works with people all over the world. And, why she does that is because when she does, she brings to light that which is within each of us so that we can connect with God in a deeply personal way and learn a new level of awareness. And so whether you know her, as someone that showed up as clairvoyant as a child, whatever it is you know about her, what you should know today in today's show is we are going to open up the phone lines early. Why? Because all of you have asked that we bring it up a notch and engage so that you can call in and get some guidance from one of the best. Today's show, are you ready for it? Is this, is woo-woo actually you? Let's talk. And this live call-in show, are you ready to step in to the woo-you conversation? Sara, it's great to have you here.
Oh, it's fun to be back, Pat. Yeah.
Well, listen, let's start with the conversation about this idea of woo-woo. I was sharing with you before the break about how many of us have had labels on us for a large part of our lives. I even had a business performance review one time that said, I think Pat's on another planet. And I thought, I look back at that now and I'm like, yeah, I totally was. And I honored that now. But what is it that we're going to help folks with today? When they call in, what are you going to be able to help guide them in doing?
Yeah. So what I love to do, my favorite thing to do is facilitate people to hear between the words, to really find within their energy what is happening within them that's holding them back. And if you're an empath or an intuitive person, usually the things that are holding you back are usually it's fear of being seen, because you have a history of, if I'm truly myself, I might be persecuted or killed or whatever. There's past life stuff to that. There's also this piece of people have always told me I'm crazy, so you doubt yourself. And I'm just here to reassure people. Sometimes people come to me and they're like, well, I'm not really sure, but I kind of feel like, and I'm here to validate if you're called here to be a light worker or whatever, I'm going to tell you I can feel that, see that, know that, and I'm going to confirm that for you. I'm just really here, honestly, to help you pave the way to be authentically who you are here to be. And that can happen in a really short window of just some, we need clarification sometimes. That always say that when you're on this empathic, intuitive type journey, if you're a light worker, one of us, because we have been stifled for so long, you really start to doubt yourself. And I'm here to empower you because the world needs you right now. Most of us who are on this journey feel called in some way, shape, or another to help the world, to help serve the world. And I genuinely believe now more than ever, we're seeing that we're desiring this shift in global consciousness. And I think people like us are here to serve. So we need to get out of our own way and show up full power, ready to do that. So I'm going to help anyone that calls in figure out what that next best step is or what that clarification needs to be so that they can come to the table to help serve in the way their heart's desiring.
So let's do this, Benny. We are opening up the phone lines. Some people are already calling in. 1-800-930-2819. 1-800-930-2819. You'll have a great chat with Mr. Benny, and we will go to the phone lines after the break. Now, listen, all of us are tired of hearing, whoa, you're just so sensitive. I have to tell you, I was never called too sensitive when I was younger because I had this veneer on the outside of me. But, now I'm seen as like this coconut that shows up. It's got to be my Taurus rising that shows up as this hard outside. And yet I can cry at the drop of the hat. Whatever it is, I tell you, it is really confusing for us that get labeled about this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me as a child, I'm going to tell you what's also, I'm going to give some signs for people if they're listening in.
Cool.
You're lucky, I think, if you're Pat and you got the coconut shell early. For many of us, we didn't because we trusted. Usually we're very trusting people. And so it'll go on for a while. But what you'll notice is, you notice that for me, my dad, for example, loved Western movies, and he was a military guy, and so it was like what Dad wanted to watch is what is going to be on TV. And I noticed early on that I could not watch any movies that had violence in them. I mean, I would carry that with me for days, that feeling and not be able to get it off. Other things are like, I had a lot of autoimmune stuff. I had a lot of bronchitis as a child. That's all signs that it's starting to physically, the overwhelm of like being able to feel so much and not knowing how to clear it or clean it. And being highly sensitive, not knowing how to clear or clean it can actually physically start making you ill in certain areas of your body. I also had a lot of food allergies, and I didn't know it. I just had stomach issues all the time. So, fast forward when I did a lot of exploration and understanding of what's going on, I'm a vegetarian now because I just learned it's not an ethical thing. People question me like crazy. It's just I literally learned what my body can and cannot process.
Right.
So I have to be really delicate and nice to myself, loving to myself, and embrace all of the sensitivities in a good way. But I hear you, man. It is so. As we get older, that coconut shell just, for me, it became a darn right armor. I mean, just you're not getting in. And then I noticed that I was shutting. You don't just shut out the negative. You shut out the positive with that. So this is all about learning how to allow yourself to be vulnerable, but in the safe, secure environment in the right way. Around the right people. You get to choose, right?
Yeah. 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 And one of the things that I know that, you've looked at and are definitely, bringing to the conversation today is how lonely this can feel, how isolated this can be. And I mean, that's the thing that the folks around us just don't understand. I mean, Sara, it's kind of like, come on, ladies, put on your big girl panties and just show up and get it done. But that is not the easiest thing to do. Honestly, this morning I heard about a friend of the family committed suicide. So, we're not talking about something trivial here.
No, we're not. And I'm going to add to that. I'm going to tell you one of my own stories.
Mm-hmm.
Today's going to be a lot of storytelling, either from me or you. You're sharing, and we're sharing because we bond through our stories and we learn through our stories. My own story I've got to share because I'm going to make it brief. But I noticed several years ago, I had done a lot of work and had decided that I was going to show up, but I wasn't really having the community of support that I needed, which, by the way, that's something that I set in place fast, and it's available to people who want to work with me. I make things really affordable because we've got to support each other, got to have a safe, secure environment. So I have a sacred circle for women that even if you just need a place that's safe to share, we have that. But I didn't have any of that, and I was really going upstream, as they say. And I started noticing that I started just thinking, I don't know that I can keep doing this alone. And I definitely got so depressed. I actually had heart issues. I literally had heart failure. And I'm telling the story today because I know for a fact when I work with people, I'm able to point out to them the signs in our body. When your soul is speaking to you and you're not listening, physical dis-ease shows up, dis-ease in the body. And for me, I literally had heart failure. 30% by the time I got to the hospital, I had 30% of my heart had shut down. This is a true story.
Yeah.
And, they call it broken heart syndrome, literally, and it happens more to women than men. And, they don't really know what causes it. And I'm like, I know what caused it. I stopped believing that I could actually live this purpose that I'm here for. I literally remember 2 days before that being so depressed, like if I can't do this, I don't want to be here, right? So it is so important that we have a community that supports you, that guides you. I mean, I wish that I had the tools that I have made available to other people now. And that was my mission. It's like, nobody else is going to go through this. We're going to raise each other up. We're going to shine the light on. It's crazy. People are born with these gifts, and you don't scrutinize or make fun of a highly gifted musician or savant. You don't scrutinize it like an amazing mathematician. So why are people who are born with intuitive skills and empathic skills, why are they scrutinized? I think it's just they're misunderstood. So it's time, our world needs it so much more than ever. These are gifts that are going to serve our world in a beautiful way. So let's give the support and encouragement that all these lovely women out there need. That's what I think.
And that's what we're doing today. That's why we've opened up the phone lines. And by the way, we're going to go to the phones right after we come back from break. For those of you that want to call in and get some guidance, get some support, get some help, and especially get some clarity, 1-800-930-2819. Sarah's going to be taking your call today. And so this is about all of us being able to step forward, come together, and help each other. We've been doing it on air now for 14 years. And I got to tell you, we're just warming up. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we're going right to the phones.
Is traditional medicine not working for you? Do you still feel as if your health isn't 100%? Here at the Holistic Medical Center, Dr. Nushin Darvish and the qualified staff look through the dimensions of wellness and start a healing plan prioritized to your needs. Our physicians assess the whole you until complete health is achieved. Get the help you need by visiting drdarvish.com or call 425-451-0404.
Tune in to the hit show Mouthing Off with Chef Rossi. Chef Rossi mouths off about different subjects in pursuit of breaking down walls and opening up your minds. She and Dr. Pat banter back and forth, taking from the headlines of the day on subjects that reach beyond what goes on in the world into your hearts. And go to theragingskillet.com to find out more and let Chef Rossi know what's on your mind.
Tune in to The Jen Royster Show, intuitive guidance to inspire your life, each Thursday at 8 a.m. Pacific and 11 a.m. Eastern on transformationtalkradio.com. This amazing show is an inspirational hour that will take you on an epic metaphysical journey to discover the spiritual approach to life's greatest challenges. Dr. Jen is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, and energy healer. Call in for intuitive readings and visit jenroyster.com for more information.
What is a brilliant culture? And how do we create them? Why are they important? Claudette Rowley has created a breakthrough 5-step process to help you design a culture that is authentic, innovative, and successful. Learn how to create change with Cultural Brilliance Radio, the DNA of organizational excellence, and Claudette Rowley. To learn more or work with Claudette, visit ClaudetteRowley.com.
Awareness is universal. Establishing a living awareness through meditation brings peaceful, healthy, and creative well-being into your everyday life. The practice of living awareness, Spirit Fire's own meditation practice, is built on this belief and is designed for every level of practitioner. Each year, Spirit Fire hosts living awareness meditation retreats that allow you to explore the practice in depth at our retreat center in beautiful Western Massachusetts. Introduce yourself to meditation and the practice at the Foundation's retreat. Attend, in silence, a silent meditation retreat focused on mindfulness, presence, and nature, or be engaged with the meditation sittings themselves at the Deepening Retreat. Start adding to your awareness and attend a meditation retreat designed to cultivate consciousness in your everyday life. For details on attending a Living Awareness meditation retreat, visit upcoming events at www.spiritfire.com.
Hey, everybody, welcome back. I'm Dr. Pat. I'm here with Sara Loos. Sarah's joining me here today. And, we have opened up the phone lines because this is what this is about today. And 1-800-930-2819. Before we jump right on the phones here, Sara, how can people find out more about you? And also, how can they work with you? And please give us an update on some of the events.
Yeah, okay. So I am doing 2 new things that I'd love to share with your listeners. One is I am starting a course this September, which is called Embrace Your Divine Superpowers, and it's all about what we're talking about today. So if you're feeling really called to serve the world and show up, finally embracing your intuitive gifts, or you think maybe you're supposed to have intuitive gifts, you're not sure, and maybe you're too afraid to call in to find out for sure, this course is for you. And it's going to be level 1. It's just really helping give you the tools and the safe environment to get started on your way of living your truth. That's starting this September. You can go to my website, which is Sara Loos, SaraLoos.com, and you'll learn more about that. And the other thing that I'm doing is I'm starting a women's sacred circle. It starts September 12th. It is limited to 12 ladies, and what it is every 2 weeks, we're on the phone. I'm doing live facilitations. It's just a dialogue, because what I'm really clear about is that I'm best when I'm working in the now. Whatever's showing up for you, we facilitate, support, love each other. There's a Facebook group that goes along with that. That's extremely reasonable to participate in. It's a support area for you, community of sacred, amazing women who want to support each other. Both of those are starting in September. Enrollment's happening now. And again, all of that's available on my website. Just look for group mentoring, and you'll find both of those events available. Lastly, if you're not really jazzed about being in a group and you want private consultation, I do one-on-one mentoring. It's done by phone lines, and it's powerful, and you can do that for 3 months, 6 months, or 1 month.
Yeah. And, really, it does talk to, Sara, exactly what folks are saying. At least, the emails I get, the phone calls I get. I've never seen such a rising up of women, especially saying, listen, I want to be my best me. And I know that I cannot do that in the day and age we live in alone.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful you are here in support of them. Really grateful. Wow.
I love it.
Now let's go to the phones. Mr. Benny, who do we have up?
We shall take, it's Kathy waiting so patiently from Maryland. Hello, Kathy.
Hi, Kathy. Welcome to the show. How can we help you? How can Sarah help you today?
I'd like to find out where I am on my spiritual journey.
Okay. And Kathy, it feels like you've been dabbling around a little bit. Tell me, what I would love for you to do, Kathy, is just if you'll take your hands, rub them together for me, and just put them over your heart. Skin to skin. I love that. Skin to skin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And take a couple of good deep breaths. Now, what I'm really clear about is you're feeling very called, correct?
Yes.
And well, no, so that's where, that's always what happens. You're called, you're not sure where you're called, you're not sure what the calling is. And so I'm hearing also, besides just a lot of confusion, you feel very stifled to me. So I think that there's some story in that you haven't been given permission, or you're not giving yourself permission to pursue. So there's worthiness issues. Does that feel correct? There's a lot of worthiness issues going on in your voice.
Yeah.
So I would really encourage you, first of all, I'm just going to say what I would do a lot of work with you on, that I would begin with self-love. You have to understand that you are an amazing divine being, and that you are as worthy as any other person on this planet to show up with a joyful experience, a joyful heart, and on purpose. And I would really encourage you to do some self-love work to really get your worthiness. And so I just want to be really clear.
Yeah.
When I work with people, I'm moving. It's like these, the way I see it is like there are screens, and they're, like the panels. Imagine those slider doors that close. And I've got to move all those doors, those panels out of the way so that you can see the full perspective of everything you're capable of. So the first place for you, my love, is to begin with self-love and self-worth. And out of that, you can give yourself permission to move forward. Does that resonate?
Yeah, it does. Does it come from when my mother said you weren't supposed to be here?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, that's one of the pieces. It's not the entire piece. I'll tell you that. But yeah, I mean, isn't it sad that parents could overshare? That's the only way I'm going to say it. It's oversharing. And you know what? You were meant to be here. I'll tell you, there are no mistakes. Divine God, Creator, put you here for a reason. And see, you overcame all odds. Think about that. You overcame all the odds and defied whatever intention she had, because you are here on purpose, love. Mm-hmm. You are. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what I love about this conversation to both of you right now is that, and this is what we started to talk about today, is that there are moments in time in our lives, and sometimes those moments turn into hours, then they turn into weeks, then they turn into years, then they turn into lifetimes, where we have absorbed so many others' perspectives on who we are, who we might become or not, who we could love or not, how much money we could make or not.
Right.
And right, Sarah, what you're talking about is within each of us is the divine solution. But sometimes we build up all of those layers that, like today in this call, we need a little help removing them, right?
Absolutely. What is so powerful is to understand how your story has limited you. It's so important. And I heard it in your voice. I feel it in your energy, love. And you are so much bigger than that story you've been telling yourself. You are so much bigger than that story. And you know you're tired of it. I feel like you're suffocating.
Yeah. Well, also at work, too. I'm ready to, retire. And it's just like, when do I go? I'm just...
Yeah. Well, you know what usually happens? It's really interesting. You'll see that the pattern repeats itself in every place of our life. So you're seeing it. It's happening in more than one place. So your desire is just, becoming so powerful that you've got to do something about it. I'm really going to encourage you to check out the group that I'm starting, or at least the Sacred Circle. You need a divine community. You just have to have, and to know that you're not alone. And so they're from all over the country, and they bonded and supported each other and loved on each other and listened to each other's stories. And then I would facilitate, and whatever I was working on, no surprise, it was so perfectly attuned to what everybody else needed to hear as well. That's how it works. It's divinity in action. So I really hope that you'll seriously consider that. And if you don't, I just want you to know you are so much more amazing than you even know. And I am just sending you so much love and light.
So thank you. I've already checked your website out, so I will join.
Yeah. And you know why this is so powerful? Because here's the lesson that I learned along the way. It is, maybe I could kind of get through things by myself. Maybe I could kind of figure it out. But here's what I know. I would never be able to get to that ultimate place, the expansive nature of who I am, the connection by myself, because by myself, I will argue for my limitations. Absolutely. That's what you will no longer have to do. Why don't you stay on the line? I want you to talk to Sara directly during the break. Just stay on the line for a minute. We're going to take a short break. And when we come back, more with Sara Loos. The phone lines are open. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
If you're not the one, then why does my soul feel glad today? If you're not the one, then why does my hand fit yours this way? If you are not mine, then why
On the cutting edge of the new mainstream, Christine Upchurch is passionate about bringing together science, psychology, and spirituality in a way that can be applied to our everyday lives for true transformation. The Christine Upchurch Show, stellar conversations to illuminate your journey, engages some of the most outstanding visionaries on the planet in lively dialogue to inspire you to become that bright light you're meant to be. Join Christine every Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific Time on KKNW, AM 1150, and Transformation Talk Radio.
A word of caution: if you prefer the status quo and you are not interested in improving every aspect of your life, this book will trigger the shift out of you. The Truth is Funny, Shift Happens is available now. Author Colette Steffen brings the powerful knowledge and life-changing energy and empowerment from the radio airwaves to the pages of her new book. To get your copy in paperback or ebook, visit thetruthisfunny.com today.
Are you feeling stagnant or blocked in your love life, career, health, or finances? Experiencing difficulty focusing or setting and achieving goals? Tune in to Spiritual Diagnostics Radio with psychic visionary healers Carol Dorian and Justice Welling. Discover the cause and effect of unwanted patterns in life. Tune in every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific on Transformation Talk Radio. For more information, visit spiritualdeed.com.
Gifted intuitive healer and spiritual teacher Sara Loos brings her unique style to the hit show Small Steps, Big Breakthrough Radio on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Tune in each month as Sara turns reality on end and shows us how to experience expansive results with simple yet powerful steps. Expect an enlightening bend on what you currently believe is possible. For show details and upcoming topics, visit saraloos.com. That's SARALOOS.com.
To see your life from an angel's perspective, book a personal consultation with Claire Candy Huff, angelic walk-in angel Ariel at Angel Healing House. Candy provides intuitive counseling, Reiki, and angel readings in person in Los Angeles or nationally and internationally via phone or Skype. She will channel the practical tools you need to transform your life. Call now 831-277-3716 or visit angelhealinghouse.com.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show, talk radio to thrive by. I am so thrilled to be talking to all of you. We have got talk radio for all of us. Are you ready and willing and able to accept all of the abundance you can muster up in your life? Check us out at drpatshow.com, transformationtalkradio.com, transformationradio.fm. Oh my goodness.
Hi, everyone. You're listening to Small Steps, Big Breakthroughs with Sara Loos. This is about enlightening minds, empowering hearts, and expansive results. And, today the topic is looking at woo-woo. Is woo-woo actually you? Let's talk. This is a live call-in show. And as you just have heard in the previous segment, Sara is taking calls to get at what's going on energetically for you, to really get a sense of how we can help you move forward. Whether you're in fear, whether you're in doubt, whether you feel overwhelmed, the point is this: would you like to be more connected? Would you like to know that your sensitive nature is exactly divinely appointed? And how can you call in today and get personal guidance directly from Sara? 1-800-930-2819. And for those of you that say, I cannot dial in, Pat, I'm at work, simple. Go to the Dr. Pat Show or Transformation Talk Radio, and on the right-hand side, you see a little question drop-down box. Get your questions in here, and we're going to make it happen. Sara, thank you so much for today. I mean, this is a conversation that I loved, what was happening during the last call, because all of us go through points in time where we are just stuck. And tell us about stuckness from your perspective and how getting more connected, becoming more aware helps us get unstuck.
Okay. Well, there are so many pieces to that, but I'll just say, I think, what I hear the most from people is that there, at least today, when I started my journey, there was not that much material available on the subject. Because, talk about woo-woo. And they actually called it voodoo then,
Yeah, they did.
It was dangerous. Don't you dare dabble on that dark side, girl, And now at least it's moved to woo-woo. So there's so much material available. And what I hear from a lot of people is they're going to, they're amazingly credible, wonderful teachers out there with lots of material. But what I find is a lot of the very intuitive type people, it's really hard for us to stay focused for any amount of time. So reading a book about, how to develop your intuitive talents, or really trying to do it on your own. I love that you mentioned that to the last caller.
Yeah.
You find it really challenging because everything is overstimulating you already. So to sit and really take it in like a textbook and learn from it is next to impossible. So I think a lot of the overwhelming confusion and all of that comes from not literally having a teacher, a personalized person who's sitting down going, okay, this is what's going on for you right now. These are your limiting beliefs that are showing up that are, because I find it's not cookie cutter. It's not cookie cutter what you need, Pat, versus what Kathleen needs or what Liz, Debbie needs, or whoever is out there. is really different because you've got to come at it from what is your story and what's blocking you. So a lot of people are, dabbling in the books, and they're like, well, couldn't I just, go read so-and-so's blog or do this or do that, whatever. And I always say to them, how's that working out for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it doesn't. You know what? There's a really good reason that there are those of us that have three mentors. And people, when I've shared that on air, people would say, yeah, of course you do, Pat, because you know what, you just can't have one. But no, that's not it at all. I have a vision, and I got to tell you, Sara, there's no way on this planet that you and I would be here on this network in this conversation if I did not have some outside help to help me clean up my inside.
And me too, right? I mean, exactly. I mean, all the people who are succeeding in life with their purpose can definitely point to mentors in their life, people who helped, carve the way for them and help them hack down the stuff that was, getting in the way of their vision. It has to be that way. You can't. It's next to impossible to. This is not a do it yourself or self-help, whatever you. It's so interesting. This is a self-help category that's next to impossible to actually do alone.
Yeah.
Kind of an oxymoron.
Well, I want to talk about your gifts for a minute. And I just want to make sure I forgot to give out the phone number again, 1-800-930-2819. Now, look, you and I have been called a number of different things. And I want to ask you, when you discovered clairvoyance, right? Or your intuition. We've never talked about this, but since we're talking about woo-woo, this is the show to talk about it. I mean, how did you react to yourself in knowing that you have this ability to see beyond somebody's block like you just did and get that intuitive, clairvoyant knowledge for you to literally accelerate other people's journey? I mean, what was it? Did you wake up one day and be like, oh, how did that happen for you?
Well, I didn't recognize my gifts until I was a lot older, and I had someone who was a brilliant teacher look me in the eyes, literally, and go, so when are you going to stop fooling around? When are you going to actually get back on track? You're supposed to be here to do healing work, correct? And I was like, what? What? And that person said it to me multiple times. And I had this amazing experience at an event that actually kind of catapulted me into like, okay, now it's like put the thirst in me to figure out why I was feeling this way. And I went to a lot of different events and workshops and whatever, and had a truly out-of-body experience at a very large group event. And I'm going to tell you, I've had two major angel experiences in my lifetime that were absolutely mystical, and both gave me profound guidance. And that's what happened to me again. I was given very profound guidance that I'm a healer, that I've been a healer in many, many lifetimes, and that it's time for me to get back on path. And I can't explain what it did inside my body, but it's like I said to the last caller, it's like you need this confirmation for some reason that you're not crazy, that you really, what you're feeling is true. And then I couldn't get enough. It was like I was so thirsty that I just wanted to take in as many opportunities to learn and grow those gifts as possible. But I didn't know that until, I was mid-30s, I think, or early 40s, probably mid-30s. Because when I was a kid, I was always clairvoyant, but I didn't know what that was. This is before caller ID. The phone would ring and I'd be like, oh, guys, it's Aunt Sandy. And they'd be like, what? And every time it was whoever it was calling. And I didn't know any better. I didn't know that other people didn't hear things the way I heard things. And so, but then I did go through my days when that wasn't okay, when people thought I was crazy and it was spooky. I mean, literally spooky. And I came from a very religious background, and some of those family members still to this day think it's spooky and they think it's wrong. And it's sad to me because I just have to say this in the show because it's really important for me. I have never had a better relationship with God, Creator, Spirit. It doesn't matter what word you use, because everything I do is from there. It's like I'm asking for that guidance so that I can help empower other people to be the light and the divinity that they're here to be. So I've never been closer, and yet it scares a lot of people who are very religious because they have rules around what's okay and not okay. And I think that those rules are all about keeping us from being empowered. So I just, I'm like, I think we need to revisit that and go, no, if it's about helping people show up with their absolute brightest light shining from their heart, loving bigger and better than they've ever loved, non-judgment, let's lift this world up to higher realms. How could that be wrong?
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And, we're going to go right to the phones here now. And I think I'd like to just, Benny, just skip the breaks at the moment because I want to make sure that we allocate enough time to let folks know. Before we go right to the phone, Sara, one more time, how can people work with you? How can they find out more about you, please?
Yeah, definitely go to my website. It's saraloos.com. It's SARALOOS.com.
I love it. And for those of you that are calling in right now, we're going to get you right on here. Mr. Benny, who do we have next?
Phyllis from Kirkland. Welcome to the show.
Phyllis from Kirkland.
Yes.
Hi, Phyllis.
Again.
I love you, Phyllis. I love you. Thank you. Thanks for calling in.
How can I help?
Yeah. What you are saying is just ringing so true. All of your signs and everything about, crying easily, being told you're too sensitive. I started developing like lumps in my breast when I was working at this job that was just so opposite from what I needed to be doing. I had no mentoring in my life from anybody in a spiritual manner. I became suicidal, and only in this last year, starting with the Dr. Pat show.
Hey!
I dare to wonder what my life would be like, because, if I knew I could not fail.
That's right.
Just went straight to my heart and started to help me open up, and I started listening to her shows more and the other shows on KKNW anyway.
Yeah.
So just in this last year, I have started to give myself permission to be who I am, and I'm just wondering, I feel like I'm on track, but I'm just wondering if you can tell me, I'm a craniosacral therapist, and stepping away from having been a PT, a traditional PT type person, which never felt like it really fit. But with craniosacral, it's like, wow, I tapped into this whole other realm.
Yeah, that's yummy stuff.
So it's what started to help me feel free enough to, to be myself. So any, what do you see?
Well, I love that you're doing the craniosacral work because I agree. It's absolutely your purpose. You've got hesitation in your voice, and so I would tell you still need more support. You are a powerful, gifted healer, and you really, really could use more support in opening. It's like, I love how you said you're opening up, and I really literally see a flower that's trying to bloom. You're that bud that is, it's one of my favorite wet forms of the rose. When it starts to open, it's got one or two petals down, and it looks so perfect. And I want to see it full bloom. So you have a little more room to go, and you feel it inside, or you wouldn't have called in.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to really. What's that, love, Phyllis?
I said I'm thrilled. I'm so excited about. It's like doors are opening, just boom, and this beautiful, beautiful landscape in front of me, and I can go run and play.
Yay. Well, it's amazing how synchronicity comes to play when we're on path. It's just amazing. And so I think there's no surprise you heard this show this morning. I would really encourage you, Phyllis, come play with me. I would love to. You can choose whether that's in the group that happens in the fall and you have some more gifts given to you to play with. I feel like, too, I have a sense that you could be a teacher. And I don't know if you've ever considered that before.
Teacher.
You what?
I would love to be a teacher. In fact, I'm taking a course right now from Matthew Bueno. I was working with Robin Alexis and Matthew Bueno, and to be a teacher.
I was just going to say it's all around you. You have a teacher aura, and I'm going to really encourage you to develop that more. We need more teachers. We're the ones who hold the light so everybody else can see the path. I'm going to really encourage you to go there. Isn't that like your heart goes, yes, please?
Yep.
Right?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, it just made me say,
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah.
And, let me give you my 2 cents. My 2 cents, and believe me, I just had this call yesterday with someone that I was speaking with for over an hour. We get so hung up on the how. We Sarah, right?
Yeah.
We get so hooked. I call it hooked on the how.
Yeah.
And it's like a little drug. It's like we infuse ourselves with having to know every detail, every nuance, everything about the how. And I said that to someone, about a week ago. And the next thing I know, they were posting up on Facebook that they were taking people in a workshop that they had not even developed yet and were completely full by the end of 3 days. And I have to tell you this. When I started crust busting, and I don't know if you've been listening that long, but when the show was called Crust Busting Your Way to an Awesome Life, and the crust busting website is actually still up, and listeners want me to bring it back, I literally was asked to teach a class by Reverend Susie Shadle to teach all of the ministers this process. And I got to tell you, truth be known, I hadn't developed the process yet.
Oh, I want to do that.
And I developed it along the way. And it was more powerful because of what Sara said. Sara works with folks in the moment that things show up. And that is the most powerful way to work. And if you have any inclination of getting started and moving past your conundrum about how, please check out what she's offering here in the fall. Okay? Yeah. Because we got to get out of the what, and we got to get on it now. We got to get on it. Time is ticking here.
Yeah. We're not meant to be alone. We're not meant to do this alone, guys. We have a world full of brilliant, amazing soul members who are here to support us and keep us on path. So don't try to do it alone.
And Sara, can you please tell Phyllis, everybody else, how they can learn more again about your upcoming opportunity?
Yeah. So the one workshop course, not a workshop, it's a course that I'm offering in September is called Embrace Your Divine Superpowers. It is going to go for 6 weeks and it begins in September. You can reserve your seat in that group already on my website, and that's saraloos.com, SARALOOS.com. And the other thing that I have starting in September is another women's sacred circle, and that's for it's just for everyone out there, women who know that we need to create sacred space and support a loving community, so that all of us who are doing spiritual work or just choosing to live a spiritual conscious life, that we have a community of supportive people there for us. Both of those are available starting September, and you can learn about them under group mentoring on my website. And I also do private mentoring, one-on-one mentoring that is crazy powerful and definitely changes things fast. And all of those are, I think, extremely reasonably priced for what the payout is when you finally open those doors and you're free to live the life you were meant to live. Wow, that is priceless, truly.
Yeah, and here's the thing I know, and it really, for people, they know value. And anyone listening to this show knows that when they see the value, that literally can catapult their lives to a place that, first of all, they don't want to stay where they are now, but to get to where they want to go, that's what people are saying yes to. So when I look at what you're doing, I've asked myself, how often was I willing to invest in myself? And again, you and I wouldn't be here if we did not invest in ourselves.
It's true. It's
you know, Sara, I want to ask you a question, back to the topic. I had an interesting comment that just came in from a caller, and that had to type in the message, asking, saying this: Pat, I heard you say the other day that you are now staying on top of global news, and the question is, I thought we were not supposed to do that. Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about why we would pay attention to current events. And it really is a delicate dance, Sara. And so let me just explain why. One is, I do 14 hours of radio a week, and I better know what's going on, or I'm not going to know what all y'all that calling in and texting us is even talking about. But what is this dance that we can do to preserve our sacredness?
Okay, so there's two things I really want to comment on from that regard. I limit how much I expose myself to, just because the energy of the news can be so incredibly frantic and frightening and meant to cause fear. So I definitely get the news, but I limit my portions. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's really critical. The next thing that I want to say is, and then I go into practice of sending it love and light. I literally pray for and send love. I visualize all the leaders wrapped in unconditional love and light. And then I ask that everything that's divine be engaged in every agenda that's transposing, or whatever that word is, that's coming to be in front of us. Because then I can let go and surrender and trust that God, Spirit, Creator's, and still involved and engaged. You and I were talking before the show about, before we got started here today, I had this great epiphany in a conversation with a friend the other day. We were talking about what's unfolding in politics. And she said, Sara, I really believe that what's happening is we're seeing, it doesn't matter, there are people out there who voted for Trump. I did not. It's, but I think everybody wanted change so badly, so much. We need reform in our political systems. And whatever's going on with Trump, he's imploding now. I think it's hard to argue that he's doing anything other than an imploding in front of us. And she and I were talking about it, and she said, Sara, I think that this is like the final straw. This is the full masculine energy at its worst, having to implode so that there's an opening for the divine, sacred, feminine energy that we know is going to save the planet to be able to move forward, right? It's like the other big energy has to explode and be broken down in front of us, so that those of us who are amazing sacred healers and light workers go, okay, finally, the path is clear. A little bit like moving one of those screens. All right, I guess it's my time. It's my turn.
Yeah.
And until then, we've been sitting around going, okay, well, I don't know that there's that much I can do. I don't know. It gave me such a new perspective. I was so excited. We were also talking about a lot of the healers that have been in the forefront of this movement for many years. They almost seem tired now. I see a lot of them, and they really feel almost tired. And it's like, okay, so it's time for the next regime, the next troop to come in. And I'm not, I mean this with great compassion and love. Like it's a change of shift. And so all of you who are listening, who feel called to make a difference, it's time. Join the shift. It is. I think it is our turn to show up in force with divine, sacred, feminine energy that's all about nourishment and love. And let's make a difference.
I know it. I love it. Please give out your website again, because this is really what this is about today. It's, we are not going to leave anybody behind in this journey, this accelerated pace. Please, Sara, one more time. What a great show.
Thank you, Pat. This has been wonderful. So again, my website is Sara, S-A-R-A, and then the last name is Loos, L-O-O-S, SaraLoos.com.
Awesome. And I'm Dr. Pat. And please, if you have missed any part of this show, it will play again later. And for those of you that are listening to the podcast on one of 100 channels, you too, don't worry about it. You can call Sara. It doesn't matter what time. That's why we do what we do.
You've been listening to Small Steps, Big Breakthrough Radio with Sara Loos. In each show, Sara helps us destroy sabotaging beliefs and behaviors to rewire our thinking and launch us to embracing what we're capable of creating. Expect an enlightening bend on what you currently believe is possible. Tune in each month on transformationtalkradio.com. Don't fret, if you've missed Sara live, visit SaraLoos.com and download the podcast. That's Sara, LOOS.com.
The preceding audio was via a Skype call.